Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 167 of the Terminus podcast for the weeks of September 11th, 2021. We did not have a podcast last weekend because I was away in Pennsylvania. An event which I will get to, I'll talk about a little more later because there was some foamage involved, although that wasn't explicitly why we were there. As you can see on the slide, I have myself, of course. I have an engineer, that is Nicholas Christensen, a fireman, that is Jared Cole, a horseman, that is Aiden Jansen, or my son, Israel. And finally, our brakeman, Tyler L., the local representative of Railroads Online.
Hello. I just survived a 2.5 hour dream, and now I'm here.
All right, hold on a second. You were like, oh, I'm so tired, we had such a long stream. Tolbert streams are 3 hours. Just throwing that out
them
there.
more regularly, though.
I mean, I try to anyway.
Tyler, you have to do a Royale like every week, okay? It's not
That's
that
also
bad.
true. That's only an hour and a half usually. And don't worry, Tyler's pain load is about to get a lot lower. We just got to get through the season finale, and then we'll be on to season 6, the losers bracket, and that sort of fun stuff. Anyway, without further ado, the train will terminate at this station.
Here we are in beautiful Revelstoke, British Columbia. Nice sunny day, little clouds in the sky, and we're here watching some CP because they're a relevant topic in this one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about CP later. Just wait till we get to the discussion topics and the surprisingly close to breaking news that we're dealing with. But first, we have a different kind of breaking news. We have the Class 1 Mantle of Responsibility and a crash from every single Class 1 on this board. In fact, at least two for most of them. Starting, of course, with, let's see, who's the first one on this list? That's Norfolk Southern. A train derailed in Canisteo due to flooding. That's in New York. This one took me a little while to figure out where and who it was. They don't mention the railroad itself, but since we had a gap when I was filling these all in, and I was like, oh, NS hasn't had a wreck, maybe they do, let me check this one, and I googled Canisteo, New York, train, just to see what pictures came up, and it was all NS. Well, it was Penn Central, Conrail, and NS, so...
and you figured that it wasn't Penn Central or Conrail.
Yeah, I figured it probably wasn't either of those.
Wonder why.
Yeah.
You know what? Conrail could still derail. So it's possible.
Yeah.
And there's probably enough Penn Central around to derail still.
Penn Central is so legendary, it's still derailing to this day. But yeah, there's Norfolk Southern. That's their only wreck of the period. But that is the first wreck of the period. Then we move on to, there are so many numbers here, it's actually bugging me out. I'm having trouble figuring out what comes next, which is this wreck from Union Pacific. It was a 16-car derailment near Brewster, MN. I believe that's Minnesota.
Yes. Or it's Montana. No, Montana is MO.
No,
Montana's
Montana's
MT.
Oh.
Yeah, MO is...
MO is Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MO is Missouri.
Mighty Mo.
MS is Mississippi.
I used the shield guster and taught me well.
East actually just... East did that like hella smooth. Mighty Mo.
Anyway,
yeah,
so
how do I know most state names? Because of battleships.
Because of battleships.
Yeah. Except for Alaska. Then it's a cruiser.
It's a very fat cruiser at that, though.
Anyway, the following day, UP had another incident. There was an employee killed at a yard in Texas, in Laredo. The details on there are a little bit scant. The man, Juan Pedro Gamez, was struck by a truck driven by another UP employee. He wasn't even killed by a train. He was 20 years old, and he got hit by a truck at the rail yard. And he was trying to... the driver, who was not identified, was trying to work on a mechanical issue while moving?
That
That's
isn't advisable.
yeah, that's
This
concerning.
seems like rules.
Yeah. Anyway, Canadian National and Canadian Pacific then had a wreck on the same day. We'll do the CN one first because we can talk about the CP one quite a bit. It was a potash derailment or potash train on the 25th of August. Then CP, 25th of August, they caused a 3-train derailment. What's going on with the cam? What's with the Lambos?
Wait, what?
Are those Ferraris? Is there something?
That looks like a
Boom, boom.
Ferrari. The second one looks like a Lambo.
What the heck?
Why does the second one look like it has a Steelers logo on it?
That's a good question. Maybe it does.
Those are some sick cars.
The Steelers
though.
are
yeah.
losing 0-10 to the Bills right now.
Welcome to Canada.
So that's why
where-
it's so salty.
Yeah. So CP had a PTC exempt train that ran away down a hill, crashed into a Union Pacific train, I believe, and derailed that train into a neighboring BNSF train. It's funny because we saw this exact same scenario play out like a couple of years ago, except it was Septa. They managed to crash 3 trains at once. Now CP has managed to crash 3 trains at once, and 2 of them weren't theirs. That must
I
be
think
hell
you
for
mean-
insurance.
Metro, not Septa.
Oh yeah,
Is
no.
this CP?
I wanted to touch on that because that's kind of funny. Maybe we'll do it in local service if I can get through the rest of these pretty quick. So that was the big CP wreck on the 25th. Then there's a little bit of a gap. We had a CSX derailment on the 29th of August, a UP derailment on the 30th of August, another UP derailment on the 30th of August. Actually, this was when they nailed a truck carrying a wind turbine blade, which is kind of crazy to see. Then there was a whole week with nothing, which is... Oh, wait, no, sorry. CSX blew one up in the middle. They derailed a train on the River Line on September the 3rd. BNSF had an incident on the 7th of September. Then UP had an incident on the 8th of September, which was a train that derailed after striking a tractor trailer. Oh, and I missed CN's second incident. This was a collision in Ontario. One person was reported injured. This was a 2-train collision, which I didn't actually look into this one. I want to know what the details were, but I'm not sure I can read it because it's a Trains magazine thing. Oh, I can.
Yeah, good.
About 10:30 Amney overpass, just across the St. Lawrence River from Ogdensburg, New York. 4 engines and 16 cars derailed.
Ooh.
There's like no discussion of what happened or how it happened, but just there's a pretty violent looking picture and those statistics. Where was I? We talked about the BNSF wreck. We talked about the wreck on the 8th. Oh, there's the other incident on the 8th. That is Kansas City Southern. A semi-truck driver was killed in a crash. They got plowed into by a KCS train. When KCS wants attention, they just kill people, I guess. It's no wonder that multiple railroads are trying to snuff them out. They then proceeded to hit another car 2 days later. A truck in Bossier City. There's no other information other than that. I'm not sure if the guy survived or not. CSX also hit a truck that same day.
There must be a car meet going on nearby because there's like, here comes Porsches, more Ferraris.
Oh my god. Hey, I'm glad we turned this camera on.
There's a Maserati right there.
Ooh.
I got a couple Maseratis.
I hope a train doesn't come right about now. That would be interesting.
Oh no!
We're about to watch the most expensive train versus car wreck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, get out! I was.
they all
I was
Steelers
stopping
logo
Yeah, they
by the
keep
looks of it.
they keep stopping on the tracks.
Wait,
Which
do
is,
they really all have Steelers logos?
It's not.
That's what I.
It's not a Steelers logo,
Yo,
guys.
guys,
It's
look
not
at
what
that
it
car
is.
who just showed up. Damn, that must be expensive.
Oh my god.
Like Porsche?
No, the pickup truck.
Anyway, We need to anoint a new holder of the Class 1 Mantle of Responsibility because of
Yeah,
all this wrecking.
who is it?
It is
NS.
the very first person we mentioned. NS is now the current holder of the Class 1 Mantle of Responsibility. Congratulations, Norfolk Southern. And while I sort this all out, why don't we have a little conversation? What are we going to do? Or what we have done in the past few weeks. Like I said, I went away and I got to do a little bit of foamage, but we'll come back around to that. Actually, Milky, can you start us off with talking about the Mark train? What's going on with the Zephyr?
Yeah. Sure. I can go ahead and talk about that. The first update that we have is from August 15th. And right now, as of the update, they were working on the kitchen of the Huckleberry Finn, which is just what they did over the series of videos for the most part. They just worked on the kitchen. I believe now it's done.
Cool. All right.
But they also worked on the FE. No, not yet.
Darn.
No, but next year.
Next year they're gonna cook some. They're gonna have a dinner party in the Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
That would be.
Oh yeah. For sure. And then they did some work on the FE Dean, which is car 500 from the Pioneer Zephyr.
Oh, is that the one they borrowed? What is that?
More like, well, okay, so the Museum of Science and Industry only had room for the original 3 cars of the Pioneer Zephyr.
Mm-hmm.
So the additional one went along with the Mark Train Zephyr through its private ownership.
Oh, okay.
Because at one point it was owned by the same guy that owned all the cars that went to Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what a
To Saudi Arabia you go.
So at one point, one of the private owners owned like 22 plus
That's a lot.
cars.
That's a lot of Zephyrs.
Yeah. That's why I articulated it once.
Did he try to attach them all?
Probably.
That's what I would have done. Taken one power car, all the intermediate cars, and one end car, to see if you could make one giant Zephyr.
Don't think there would be the horsepower for that.
Like the infinite turbo train. Well, that's why you LS swap it.
Right. Yeah, that's just kind of brief.
Damn.
They've done on the cars. They have another update coming out today.
Okay.
It's spectacular to see it going from kind of a hole of the train to fully functioning train set.
Yeah, it's moving pretty quick. It's actually really impressed me how they've turned around this Zephyr.
In about the course of a year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Question on this: are they using the original power plant, or is it?
No. The original power plant disappeared at some point in the 1990s.
LS swap.
So they're going to use a EMD 567 prime mover, which is similar enough to a Winton. The dimensions are about the same, but they did need to modify some stuff on the car.
Interesting.
And the stuff that they had to modify was mainly just the framework to hold the engine or the prime mover in there.
I have something tangentially related to this, which is that the reason I went out to PA, there were 2 reasons. One was to see Bruce Springsteen on Broadway. The other one was to attend the Volvo Club annual meet. And looking at the like 240s with the V8 stuck in them, where they had to add like a bulge in the hood or cut out part of the framework to, not too much, but just enough to fit these giant engines or like engines with superchargers on them.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was really great. I wish I knew who got the prizes for Best in Show and stuff, but we ended up going to this event the same day, driving all the way to New York City, which is about a 4-hour drive, seeing Springsteen, driving back. We got back to the hotel at about 6:30 in the morning, so we slept like all day. Missed the thing we were going to do, and I went, well, what can we do today? Well, Strasbourg's right there. I wonder if they have tickets for today. And they did, behind 611. So
Jeez.
Gloria and I decided to go ride 611 as just a random like spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
Which was great because that's not at
That's
all what I
actually really
expected.
cool, though.
Right? And I was saying to her, I think you've seen like one of the four like must-see Foamer locomotives: 611, 765, 844, and 4449. I would say are like the four premier engines.
I think you mean FEC 113.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I mean.
And now you've got 4014 on the scene.
Yeah. And she's seen 4012. So.
But the ones that you listed have been there for like years. Those have been the ones to see.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I kind of think 4014 and 844 are like either or is fine.
Yeah.
It's just
I got to see 3985.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was really cool to see 4014, but 844 was neat.
Yeah. 844. What do they call it? The living legend.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
The living legend.
Never been retired.
God.
So, are you currently plotting the demise of Tony?
Well, he's a little busy right now, so yes, but there's another Swedish car shop around the corner from him that I also might make use of. Because he was supposed to work on something before I went away, and it was minor, but it was annoying, and he did not get the chance to do it because he had to like do all this other stuff. His yard is always packed with cars that need work, and I totally get it, like he's a busy guy, but I was like, man, I wish you had told me that you couldn't do it, because I would have seen if somebody else could do it. So, I'm going to try to not put all my eggs in one basket going forward, because there's this other Swedish car shop, and I found another one that's like out on Route 6 right over the border into Connecticut. So, yeah, Tony will get as much of my business as he can take, but I need backups. I need alternates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which it's always nice to have alternates in terms of everything, like alternate foaming spots. Isn't that right, TBA?
Yeah, and as I've lived here in Chicago for actually a full calendar year now.
Hey, congratulations!
The 1 year anniversary was a couple days ago.
It's your Chicago anniversary.
Yeah, it sure is. And you know what? I gotta say it hasn't been too terrible. But I found and had plenty of time to find and locate some pretty good rail fanning spots, and I found one this morning. Mm-hmm. It's down in the Y, south of Union Station, where you get Amtrak, you get Metro East and West, and the North and South lines. Like, that's packed. It's a hopping area. And there's a public street right there, and you can just freaking go up and park and see all these trains.
Yeah, speaking from experience, maybe don't go in the Y, but...
No, I'm not going in the Y, but, like, there's, like, literally street I could just park at right there.
Yeah, it's really cool. Next to, Devon Self-Storage. I thought it said Kevon. I zoomed in on it. I was excited.
It's gonna be real inconspicuous what I'm doing there.
It's where he keeps all the other 40 Q2 models.
I'm gonna be real inconspicuous. Walks out there with a tripod, camera, high-vis vest, foamer hat. I'm real inconspicuous, guys.
Right.
But.
And then, other than that, I found another junction between Metro's Milwaukee District North and I don't know what freight line it is, but it has a junction there with CP, right? Like the CP main line joins this other one through the junction on the Milwaukee District North, which I guess is also CP's line, like south out of Milwaukee. So this spot's up by where near I work, and after work, every now and again, I'll go and wait a minute, and then, because it's a metro line, so it's obviously busy, but I wasn't expecting to see freight trains on it, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I really wasn't. I in fact didn't even cross my mind that there would be freight on it, because it's such a heavy passenger corridor.
Is this where I remember you sending a picture of like a CP lash up with an NS engine in the middle of it?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But also all those standard cab Jeeps that they keep sending down. But
aren't the only non-standard cab Jeeps the GP60Ms?
no,
Oh.
there's like GP38s and stuff that are still standard cab.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying the only non-standard cab.
Oh, I don't know.
Not enough out of knowledge. Actually,
Yeah.
you haven't been the only one going out for stuff. I know, Tyler, you went out with what, Graham and, or was it with, who'd you go out with?
That was with Agilies.
You went out with Agilies. I thought it was with Graham and Agilies. No, Graham went to see Wybold, right?
Yeah, Graham went to see Wybold.
And
we went to see all the chooches, the little ones that couldn't, and the ones that tried very, very hard and somehow managed to.
yeah. And I wish Wybold had been on this episode to talk about what's been going on at the roundup and stuff. But between that, East, are you volunteering now, or did you just go?
I've been volunteering
Okay.
since like 2019, but I let a thing called COVID put a nail in that.
Yeah, that slows it down.
That'll happen.
But I did resume volunteering throughout these past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because they reopened the models section at the museum, which is where I'd run on my trains, because, layout. But some news from this museum and some personal news, just because, what I did this weekend. I just sent a pic of a brand new, fully restored FEC caboose, FEC 715.
Oh, I was actually just looking at that. There it is. That's the one we have an article about, right?
Yes. And he personally just restored it one day. He was like, "Yeah, I want to restore this caboose." It was originally in 2009. It was toppled over on its side at a museum up north. And the museum said, "Hey, if you can't find a place for this, we're gonna have to scrap it." So in 2019, it was put on a flatbed and drove to the Gold Coast Ferry Museum down here. But it was in such bad shape that if you had walked through it, you would have fallen through the floor.
That's that's fine. That's normal.
Yeah. But Richard raised nearly $200,000 to restore the rail car to its former beauty. And this weekend, not this weekend, whenever I took this pic, like 2 weekends ago, it was on display, and you can go inside. The interior is fully restored, has all the plumbing you'd need, and everything.
Let me live in it.
You can live in it. There's bunks and everything. But what else I did during the museum is a lot more foamage from the end of the Steam era on the FEC with the layout.
Okay.
So a friend of mine named Sibo brought down his newly acquired brass FEC steam engine, and we ran it on the layout together. And at the end, we got these pics of them with the rest of the fleet. Some other random cars thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
It's a great layout.
Yeah. It is very pretty. Just don't ask about running it, because like a third of the track is out of gauge.
Oh no.
Yeah. It comes from a lot of people leaning on things they're not supposed to lean on. So like half the switches don't work, and the lift-out bridge is dangerously misaligned.
Oof.
So what you're telling me is restore it so you can run on that main line.
Yeah.
Listen, at this rate, we just are gonna build a new layout, because the original one was funded by the state of Florida. So we're just gonna be like, "Hey, state of Florida, pay us more money to build new train, please."
No.
Then.
In other news, an FEC train up in Lake Worth had hit a truck and do what trains normally do to trucks when they hit them.
Oh god.
Climb out.
Yeah, said truck does not exist anymore.
Now that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
How
It
about
is
a little more?
You know
quite a lot
what
of
else is
damage.
a lot of damage? Oregon Coast Scenic hitting a car. The driver was distracted by a Pronto pup.
A what?
It's an all. Okay, it's apparently a popular lane around Rockaway Beach. All the times that I've been up there, I've never seen this.
What?
But apparently it's next to the highway. It's a very popular restaurant,
Oh,
apparently.
okay. So he was just ogling the restaurant, got hit by a train?
Yeah, because there's the gigantic pup on top of it.
God,
Yes.
that's terrible and amazing.
But no one was hurt.
Yeah.
So,
Wow,
It
there's
was
so
the
many
giant
people.
corn dog's fault. Oh my god. Oh my
Speaking
god.
of,
Wait,
Ellis, you said you wanted to live in that caboose, right?
Yeah. I just wanted to steal it. I'm just taking it.
Oh, I
So-
have interior pics if you want to.
Oh yeah, send me pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. For my modeling stuff, I've gotten into the sphere of, I guess, the mix of interior design and railroad technology.
Okay.
If you guys
Go on.
remember a while back, I showed an article of a gentleman in Durango who's converting a stock car into a tiny home.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, my buddy Kyle, he finally showed us his concept art for what it's going to turn into, and I just immediately go, yeah, I'll make that.
Oh no.
So now Andrew is currently feeding us
Okay.
all Casey and Katie brake equipment
Alright,
diagrams.
I'm
for
currently showing
that.
pictures of East's caboose just for the audience. But
Caboose.
Let me see if I can go grab a side view. Because this thing is basically just, yeah, this one will work. It's a bunk car.
oh, cute.
And there's a lot of cool little features in it. If you look on the right side where there isn't a claristory window,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to have basically the inverse of what a Pullman car has. You know,
Okay.
where you turn the seats into a bed. What it does is the roof pulls down, and you can put, well, not the roof, but you know, the internal boarding pulls down, and you can put all your clothes there. That's the plan, at least.
Nice.
So this thing, he's still working on it. I'm just going to give him conceptual stuff. Hopefully, soon enough, he'll be sitting up in Silverstone. He's doing a video series on it, if I can go grab that.
it's a very unique concept, but a very cool repurpose for a stock car.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, if somebody thinks they're gonna make a home out of a stock car, I think, oh, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna be a little drafty, but this is really cute.
Speaking of video series, at the museum I met a guy named Mark who works for, or who owns, or either works for Challenger Studios, and he's spending the next 3 years going around the country, filming and documenting the history of every surviving California Zephyr car for the soon-to-be 75th
Ooh.
anniversary of the train in
That's
2024.
Nice.
Awesome.
And so we spent some time talking to the guy. He rode the last City of LA, the last Zephyr, both east and west for both trains, and he was like, yeah, I remember going on the trains, and it was an experience.
Well, that reminds me that we had a picture and an associated description, but somehow the article itself got missing, or like the link or something, to save a 20th Century Limited end car.
Ooh, I have that link.
Oh, you have that link?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to... I guess now that's going to end up in the... Oh, this is the You Bought a What? Tiny House on Rails. I'll send... I'll send... That's the same picture twice. I will
Got the wrong link on
throw
accident.
this link in the cargoes as stock car tiny home.
And speaking of other things that have been saved, Arizona is now down a locomotive.
You know what? Cry
You know-
about it.
Reno has finally gone on to a better pasture that does not tend to burn.
Yes.
He has gone home, thanks to the help of
Yes.
a Tucson native.
Now we just need to steal Tahoe
Tuxin.
and complete the
No.
connection.
Tuxin.
God.
I'll fucking do it again.
Chucks in.
But there are plans to build an engine house around it, specifically themed for Reno. She's currently staying on the VT Tourist line, not the Nevada State Railroad Museum, even though they are basically just across the street.
What's the difference?
I don't see there are any plans to put her into operable condition, but it's great to see her not just sitting baking in the sun, half burnt to death.
That's good. That's good. I'm happy to see another BNC engine go home.
Poor Reno.
Also, I saw Jilly's off to college, and there are shenanigans there.
Yeah.
We did not make it to the grab bag, and I am sad.
Aw. You tried. I also just
Hey,
showed
so
a
you-
picture of the 20th century observation. That's in a little bit of sorry shape, but oh well.
Yeah.
So
you know what all the cars are for?
what?
It's the Royal Rally GT.
Oh, okay.
I don't think those cars were doing rally.
It's like it's a road rally. They just kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to share with everyone the most recent T1 Trust update because there was a note made about this, and the picture that I saw was the entire firebox on a giant truck labeled wide load. So it's going somewhere. It's complete. It's together. It's missing, I think, the front sheet,
Yeah, it is.
although the name of which escapes me. And so yeah, now it is in the same place as the rest of the boiler.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So they're currently doing a capital campaign. They have a goal of 150K, which I don't think they're going to make. They've only got a couple months left on that, but they have raised $50,000, which is not an insignificant sum. The goal is to complete interior and exterior boiler sections, make some more wheels, and also start the frame construction finally. So they also are going to be doing some preservation work on the tender, because as some of you probably know, it's an original coast-to-coast tender, not one they're building from scratch, so it needs a lot of restoration work. It was hanging out with the last I-1 up in upstate New York.
Or bongo bongos.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty rough.
It is a little rough. But there'll be a link to the T1 Trust down there. I think I'm going to give them a few bucks, throw them a donation, as well as Wikipedia, because they sent me another email like, you donated to us last year. Can you do it again, please? We're like broke. So, donate to Wikipedia. They need it and they deserve it.
You should also donate to me
Why?
because I need money.
Okay.
He is your son.
Because
Are you?
I mean, you know, that's the fairest reason one can have.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You have money.
yeah. Anything else that we've gotten up to lately? I just wanted to give another opportunity for people to speak. Although we've cleared off the sheet, which is nice.
Something that got deleted from my end was Brightline is starting services up again in November, so expect me to ride Brightline again shortly.
I don't know where that went. I'm not the one who took it.
Well, it went somewhere, but
Well, yeah, Brightline. Woo. We're gonna get some more fun Brightline articles.
I still need to ride
Yeah.
Metro. What am I doing?
Need to ride Metra.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I've taken the L everywhere, but I haven't ridden Metro at all.
Oh, right. I just wanted to touch on this real quick. This is the one last thing. Where is it? Yeah, Septa is apparently trying to rebrand as the Metro. It's
So they want to be British.
it's part of a $40 million effort to make the public transit system easier for new riders. Basically, they're trying to, they're trying to make, they're trying to get some new customers. They're doing a PR thing.
CTA has been doing some good progress on the renew and refresh program they were working on. Like the red and purple modernization is almost done. The Brown Line flyover is almost done.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. They're getting ready to put the switch into place at the that end of the station, and then it's an older article, but they really want to rebuild Staten Lake entirely, and I can't wait because I already deleted it.
Oh,
but like it's gonna make downtown such a mess.
yeah, well, construction will do that. I wanted to throw out there that this Septa article is worth a bit of a read. They're doing a rebrand, and they're engaging in a 2-month feedback period with pop-ups at stations and an online portal, so you can share how you feel about the rebrand. Which I'm giggling at, but it's pretty smart. Either way, I wish them the best of luck. I hope Septa can someday stop being the butt of all metro jokes, the butt of all subway jokes.
Okay, but can they really achieve that?
I hope they can. I hope someday.
Not with being called the Metro, that's for sure.
I mean, it's moving away from the disaster known as Septa.
Yeah.
And plus, you can't as easily call it septic anymore, so that's a big plus. Anyway, we have a segment on this show where we are going to bring back a feud from just a few days ago, and that segment is called Thank you. In one corner, we have the Pennsylvania Railroad Q2. In the other corner, we have the Virginian Triplex.
Oh,
Choose
no.
your character.
Yeah. Yeah, who's doing what?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Do you want to
I
participate?
thought we.
Do you
We did talk about this. Tyler, I challenge you.
Okay, what do you challenge me for? Soup?
Yes.
The important question is, what is he challenging you with? Which engine?
Triplex v
Okay.
Q2.
Okay, Are you
Okay.
taking the triplex then?
Nah, I'm taking standards, my guy.
Actually, even though it's Ellis's.
Wow, you have something right down your alley and you go with Q2.
Tyler,
No, I'm not
you
trying to
have
ally
the
with
say
us.
here. You're the guest.
Yeah, Tyler, you're the one who gets to do stuff.
Alright, I will not be taking the triplex.
You're just the smart decision. All right, East, are you going to take the triplex or?
Yes.
Okay.
I challenge the master himself.
Okay. There it is. There's the
Good
lad,
luck.
the long lad.
You're gonna need it.
This thing won the Royale, so I have a little bit of faith.
It did win the Royale, but I mean, spoilers.
And then let's get you copy image.
Yeah, let's get a Q2 in here. Not that
There's
anyone
Q2.
here is unfamiliar with the Q2.
Yeah, well, you know,
I know.
thing.
You know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I am inclined.
Is it bad I even did the little arm thing?
You know what I'm saying. Give him mine.
But you know what I'm saying.
Anyway, I'm inclined to give the advantage to the triplex here because despite the fact that it did so well in the Royale, this is a different game.
Yeah.
So
This is gonna be a brawl.
I hope this is as funny as we expect it to be.
I hope it's gonna be crazy.
All right, East, Mr. Triplex, you go
Minimum
first.
weight of rail.
Yeah. Oh.
You don't get to veto this.
Wait, I'm going, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, minimum weight of rail.
Wait, he's just asked that to you.
Pennsylvania standard. 131.
I'm a whole 30 pounds lighter, 101.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right,
Get
that's a point to the triplex.
Okay, let's do axle loading.
Axle loading.
All right. 79,780.
62,000 flat.
Jesus.
Weight on drivers.
393,000.
What?
393,000.
Oh. Seven 700,000. 725,475.
Good lord.
Great.
All right, well, there's a point for the Q2.
I guess I do have more drivers.
TBA, are you doing the points?
I wanted to.
Oh, go ahead then.
Yes. That's a point for the Q2.
East.
Yeah.
Engine weight.
Wait, what? Oh.
842,310.
619,100.
That's another point for the Q2.
Driver wheelbase.
Oh, bro.
45.75.
45.75, you say?
Yeah.
No.
18.12.
Yeah.
It's counting one. Is that counting one
Yeah.
set? Like
I don't know.
Can I please get a repeat on that?
18.12.
Then what was these?
45.75.
45.
I don't even think that's both of East's driver sets. Or I don't think it's all three, rather. I think it's
No,
maybe
that's
two.
one set. But that means it's no. That's probably one set because a 40-foot boxcar.
Yeah, I'm thinking about I don't know.
But like,
Engine wheelbase.
engine wheelbase 67.58.
53.46.
Oh my god, there's another point for the Q2.
Let's go Q2.
Let's see here.
He's the standards man.
Still mad at KNL
Number
for never
built.
putting it out.
Una.
1d6.
26. I was thinking 52, and then I remembered that's the T1.
Number in class.
1. Oh.
No, just
26.
one. It's Juan.
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 Year.
Payne. 1916.
1945.
Gosh, it's murder.
Driver diameter.
56.
69.
Nice.
Nice.
Oil pressure.
222.
300.
Good lord.
I just preemptively gave the point to the Q2.
This might be a bit of a gamble, but I remember you weren't that great last time. Factor of adhesion.
Oh yeah, you've done this Royale before. 3.88.
You both.
3.9.
Oh wait, no, you weren't.
Okay, factor closer to 4.0 is
yeah,
better,
closer
right?
to 4
Yeah,
is
Tyler
better.
got it.
That's a point
Okay,
for
so
the Q2.
Tyler's better.
I just want
That's
to
10.
say this right now. This is Tyler's catharsis from dealing with the Royale, and watching the triplex win against his will. This is like Tom Brady after Deflategate. He's angry and he's here to destroy something.
Lose.
And he's gonna destroy the record.
65 by 5.5.
277 by 3.5.
Another one for the Q2.
Wait, flues or tubes?
Lose.
Flues? Okay, then never mind.
Let's see here.
You should do tractive effort.
Oh
I
god.
don't-
That
I
thing
don't
was
think you should
scary
do that.
last
I
time.
don't think you should do that.
Yeah, that engine has a lot of traction.
Power and
323.64.
1,432.78.
Preempted point to the Q2.
This gives me hope for power L1.
8,875.
51,082.
51,000.
Yes. Let's
A
see
lot.
here. Same as above, but substitute firebox area for grade area.
114,818.
282,750.
Oh, it doesn't
Mm,
stop.
Same as above plus superheater percentage.
Pain. 28,665.
47,463.
Oh my god, it's a massacre. Somebody make Matt watch
I don't believe
this.
see this.
Yeah.
Du-du-du-du.
22,887.
36,510.
Matt, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
There's another one
No,
for the
don't feel
Q2.
sorry.
Oh, my fault.
Let's see here.
It's okay, I lose track of it too.
Yeah, since that was going so well, I think I do have an edge here. Grade area.
107.6.
121.7.
Good lord.
Evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume.
Ouch. 241.48.
677.22.
I'm sorry, did you just say 677?
Yes.
What the heck?
What the hell?
Jesus Christ.
It's a monster.
Hey, I just want to say there are enough points
Yeah.
on the board to go to style points. Just
It is.
throw it out there. It's 18 to 2.
let's go to style.
Oh my god. All right, well we each get a choice. I wasn't even able to keep track of
Dude, I don't even remember what was asked or not.
Can you guys ask low questions?
Oh, hey, I got a
Some track of
question.
effort?
I was
I
yeah,
had a
sure.
question.
What was your question, TBA?
Robert Lemosina's powered
You already did
computation.
one.
Oh, god damn it.
Base.
You tried.
Let's not do that.
I tried so hard.
Base.
Also,
Valve gear.
tubes.
Valve gear.
Baker.
Wall charts.
Hey, that's a point for the triplex.
Yeah.
All right, and
You have 3.
to highlight one more thing. Actually, Milky, do you have one?
No.
No, you don't have one.
Lucky,
You just
please ask low question.
content watching this murder.
You know what low pressure standard?
Yo, low pressure cylinder.
All right, the document's down here. The document's underneath. You can type in your cylinders.
Get wet.
All right, let me go put this in.
Where's the dog?
The doc is the local Real link underneath the locomotive versus table.
This is 29.
Hi, Lafayette. So, 23.75 by 29 for the Q2, but there's 2 of them, and the triplex is 34 by 32, and there's 4 of them, which means the difference is over 4-fold in favor of the triplex. It's 116,000 versus 25,600. So yeah, there's a point for the triplex.
That's 4.
And
He brings it back.
There was one that I wanted to ask, and I can't remember what it was.
Tubes and tracks of effort.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did want to see tractive effort.
Oh god.
Tractive effort.
186.
860.
One at a time, boys.
186,975.
Versus.
Yeah, you slaughtered me.
Really?
What was the Q2s again?
100,816.
It's still 6 figures, but you know. Okay, you guys go with the style points.
Longest engine, biggest engine on the Erie or Virgin.
Yeah.
Speed water heater.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, that is the style point.
we've done that before.
I'm the technical advisor. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get a point for tank engine?
No.
No.
What the
Why
fuck have we
not?
given a point for tank engine?
No, I'm just messing around. White walls.
Yes.
I have no idea if I had white walls.
Yeah, I know.
But I do have a folding coupler.
You do have a folding coupler. That's a point.
That's 20 for the Q2.
I have a doghouse.
A doghouse
Yeah.
is also a point. You both have
Half
dual
style point
chimneys.
for
So that
Yeah,
isn't
we
a
built
point.
in these. I get a half a point, and East gets a full point for the shades because
Yeah.
they've got the. Yeah.
So I go
Um,
0.5.
Yeah,
Okay.
Anti-slip gear.
and I slip gear. Don't bother with a 0.5 until we get another 0.5. I just, it's a massacre enough. Yeah, he has anti-slip gear.
Zippers.
That's 22 points for the, actually 23 points in total for the Q2.
Do you give up yet?
I don't know what are the solid points for this engine.
You have a lot of sand?
The Q2 has more, probably.
Yeah.
Bro, you have like twice the amount of drivers.
Yeah, but he has 4 sand domes, but they're all really small.
Yeah.
Like his Pete.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Man,
Yeah,
the
but-
triplex must just bring out things in people because I got Matt with a your mom joke during the Royale.
Yeah, you're.
I don't even remember
Roller
why
bearing.
or what it was.
Roller freight.
Oh yeah, roller bearing points. That's a point for the Q2.
God, stop. Do you know how many points you have? 24.
It's 24-7.
You know what's better than 24?
I was
25.
I was turned into a melee and a Mikado afterward.
Okay, well, so is Deca Pod Pod, but we didn't give it a point for that.
I mean, yeah, mitosis is not a point. I think we brought that up.
Toast, yeah. In those exact words, last Royale.
You sound like you're playing Agario.
Yeah, we're playing freaking Spore. We're playing. You know what?
Do I get a point for booster?
Do you have a booster?
Yeah, it's
Does my
on.
third set of drivers
No.
count as a booster because it's under my tender?
It's not count
No.
as a booster. Yeah, sure. We'll give the Q2. Well, we'll give the Q2 a half a point, which brings the total up to 25. And also, Tyler,
Most
did you get
powerful
your?
locomotive?
Did you get your? Okay, yeah, that's a point. Most powerful locomotive in terms of horsepower.
It's 26.
Tyler, did you get your water scoop point?
No, I didn't.
27.
This is just catharsis. That's all.
You
This is.
got 20 points on this thing.
Is this the most one-sided versus?
No.
I
No.
mean, I'm not sure, but it might be in a second. Tyler, did you get a point for your Skyline casing?
Yeah.
Okay, did you get a point for your cast pilot?
Well, I got a point for Cat's Pilot. I didn't get a point for the Skyline.
Oh, okay, that's 28 points then.
Just,
I'm trying to think of other things. I don't. Oh, cab signals.
Cab signals, yeah.
It's
Point
29.
for the Keystone plate that's in Boss? Question mark.
Can we just give it a point for standards, like straight up?
No, but we can give it a point for the embossed number plate.
Can I have a point for longest service life?
Yes, you can. You do have a much longer
Yay.
service life.
Also, he has marker lights on them, and you do not, sir.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh.
He does. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, the Q2
It's,
has
you can
markers.
see them. They're just on the left and right of the feed water heater.
Yeah,
bump
they're
at
the
the top
little.
of the Skyline.
They look like little horns.
Oh,
Your
okay.
engine is horny.
Bonk.
Bonk.
We both have real world models.
Oh, I have a field water heater too.
Oh, okay.
Do you?
Where?
A Baldwin feed water heater containing 437 square feet.
Okay. Okay.
Do
knock
you have a train model?
1 point off the Q2.
That's I don't know. I've never looked into the triplex before.
I know the Q2 does. So, points for favor?
Yeah, point for the Q2 for the trains model. What
30 again.
was
Wait, the Q2 has a train? Oh, yeah. You know.
Well, actually,
Free coast.
I think there is a trains model of
is there?
I actually
the,
think there's two.
the
I thought it was only
triplex.
the Erie.
You're not gonna like it, but
Is it? It's one of the really old ones, isn't it?
yes.
Okay, it still counts.
But I mean, technically,
Since I don't think this is gonna get any better, can Tyler get a point for the cab windows? The like
Oh, we already did.
Oh, okay.
We got that one out of the way. There was one more that I wanted to that I thought of, but I can't remember what it was.
Can I get points for having a family barbecue on the front of my engine?
No, but that's funny. The head end
Was
throttle.
the
Q2
Erie?
Yeah.
Did the triplex serve in any other railroads?
He was a one-off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So
because
can it get a point for being the only one of its kind?
No.
Why?
Because some
actually,
things were
no.
so
You know what?
bad.
I did give a style point just for it being a triplex during the Royale. So
Yeah.
you can have that.
I think it was specifically the longest triplex.
It was. Yeah, that's right. It was the longest triplex.
By like a wheel.
Yeah.
You did it.
Did I get into the double digits?
No.
Oh.
The Q2 gets another point though because it has a head and throttle, which I
Okay, we get it. The Q2's amazing.
just
Okay, I don't have the most sand domes, but I'm pretty sure I'm one of very few engines that have 4 sand domes. Like,
What about Garay's?
What about Garay's?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll
I think
give him
it's
that
over.
one.
I think it's over,
Yeah,
guys.
it's over.
no, guys, I think I can totally come back from this.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely not. You know why? Because the Erie Railroad is eerie. It's spoopy.
It's actually the Virginian.
This really shows that
There ain't nothing eerie about black money.
we what this does show is how different a game Locomotive versus the Locomotive Royale often are. The triplex took it pretty handily in the Royale, and here it got obliterated.
It was a bug against
It was
a
Tyler's
issue.
revenge.
Yeah.
Tyler's revenge.
I am here.
He was
31 to 10.
basically. He had the high ground. Okay.
You're not
Silver
here. but I am
Anakin,
here.
I have the high ground.
With that in mind,
You could have asked all the weight stats and you were one.
I did ask the weight stats and he won!
yeah,
But what?
he won the weight on drivers stat.
Tyler should also be banned from competing in.
I want to see
Yeah.
Tyler versus
Weibold.
but
Yeah,
Weibold
we were
has a
supposed to
grand
have a
engine.
Tyler versus Weibold grudge match at some point. It just hasn't happened. Weibold's been like away, doing
Yeah.
doing foaminess.
Doing his
Is it going to be
big boy
K28
job.
versus 37?
What is it gonna be?
Is it going to be like K28 versus 37 or something?
I don't know. It's gonna be whatever you guys think you can win with.
It's just gonna slowly be increasing into an arms race
Yeah,
until we end up like Q2 versus Big Boy.
it'll be the Q2 versus like the L105s or something.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good one. I should put that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
I like the Grand.
Yeah, but so does
Or
he.
you either die by the, or you could technically both take grand engines.
Yeah, I mean you could. L105
Just say-
versus what was that? What was that other Malay that they got and they said it was the finest engine ever?
Grand,
the
grand, yeah,
DMR.
grand.
The Yellowstone.
Yeah, thank you. That.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think no one will be surprised by my vote for the Q2 here.
Guys, please let me win something.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is going to be surprised by my vote for the triplex.
Yeah.
Because F the Q2.
Yeah, your vote against the Q2. TBA, who are you voting for?
TBA, please.
Q2.
Yeah,
Screw you.
it also might surprise very few people that I had already written by the votes 2-1 before anybody had cast their votes. It's like, we know how this ends. That was also one of the fastest locomotive verses we've ever
That
had.
was incredible. I need to take this time to go get some more water.
All right, we can jump into one of these discussion topics here that one that isn't his.
Well,
So,
I suppose that we could jump right into the ongoing saga that is the Northwestern Pacific Railroad.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, what is the Northwestern Pacific Railroad?
The Northwestern Pacific Railroad started life in the 1800s and eventually became a part of SP when SP gobbled up everything in California.
Gobble.
Yeah.
Merger Mania.
And their rail line was notorious for running through the Eel River Canyon, which is a canyon that is very adverse towards the railroad that has gone through it.
How
Mother
so?
Nature has fought hard to remove the railroad, but it just keeps coming back.
Well, it's not back right
Except
now.
except for right now, because there was washouts that happened back in 1998, I think.
Hmm.
And since then, there have been no repairs. There were going to be some that were done immediately after the washout, but the FRA said no, stop. Stop assisting.
Please die. Please stay dead.
And the state of California has also picked up that mindset of just die.
Just die. We are currently being paid off by Mother Nature.
But much like the Rio Grande Southern, there's a pioneering spirit here of making something work that really shouldn't. Which is what transitions us into this current effort to sip coal on the NWP. Now, a few months ago, we talked about how there was a proposal for a railroad going from, I think, Reading to Eureka that would have done essentially the same thing.
That would have been sick.
It would have been, but it was kind of impractical to just build a new railroad. Why not use the railroad that's already there, albeit
Because F the railroad that's already there, because it's UP.
It hasn't been UP ever.
Wait, what? How did it not end up as UP ever?
Okay, so
I need this part of the story. What happened?
So in
Reading is Union. Oh, it was back in the day.
In 1984, Southern Pacific spun off the NWP into its own thing.
Oh, okay.
Which was acquired, or I think it became the Eureka Southern after that, and remained that way until 1990 when they went bankrupt. Surprising no one, but they ran a nice excursion train on the tracks. Some of the cars are still there to this day. But anyway, so after 1990, it became under the current ownership of the North Coast Rail Authority, which rebranded the railroad as the Northwestern Pacific.
Okay.
Surprising no one. And they ran it up until that 1998 storm.
Gotcha.
Which had caused some serious washouts. There's actually still 7 center beam cars just in the middle of nowhere because they're so far from the roads that they just got the lumber off of them and didn't recover the cars.
We don't need these.
Yeah. So they were pretty much the lost cause. But anyway, they want this group, the North Coast Rail Company, which is different from the North Coast Rail Authority. They're not associated with each other.
Wait, what? North Coast Rail Company versus North Coast Rail Authority?
Yeah. This is some weird anime-able shit.
It's making me think of the whole Tennessee Pass debacle with
right.
the Colorado and Midland.
Yeah. And the Colorado Pacific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, they want to get.
But I just saw something. That's cringy.
What?
In this picture that Tyler sent of the triplex, why is it Norfolk and Western? It's stamped on there.
It's because, the Virginian, that was subsidiary, and then it ends up in the NW Historical Society records.
Yeah.
That's why you see it has the reporting mark for the artifact on the bottom left.
Yeah, the
Oh,
picture's
okay.
owned by the NW Historical Society.
Yep.
Great guys. Go check out their site. Go
Yeah.
steal all of their diagrams.
They should build a new
Right.
triplex. What?
No, but
What?
they should rebuild the NWP for
Yeah.
$2 billion.
They should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they
free
should
stuff
rebuild
there.
the WP.
They should turn on the AC because it's hot as shit in my right now.
Oh no, he termed the
And then
company. Hold on. I love this line from the article. McGuire termed the company a, quote, secret clandestine operation hiding behind an anonymous LLC in Wyoming.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, this is
That is
the
so weird.
yeah, this is the that was the local lawmaker's take on the situation.
Oh,
This
what?
is McGuire.
Yeah.
Secret
That,
Wyoming coal barons.
that's a conspiracy right there.
That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
Secret Wyoming coal barons. But anyway, it's a good idea. It's a little bit of a wet dream, but it's a cool idea.
I think you mean pipe dream.
Yeah.
A wet dream is
dream.
something different, Milky.
No, it's a cold
I
dream.
mean, people were nut over the NWP
You know, that's...
coming back.
Listen, pitch some passenger service on it. Try to get the California legislators on board.
yeah, good luck getting California on
A
board.
couple
with
of
anything.
years from now,
Yeah,
just keep an eye on Eureka.
that filing
Yeah.
was opposition.
Wow.
So, how does the town of Eureka have they said anything about this? Because I know it would really bolster their port, which currently does all of not much.
Yeah. I think Eureka would probably be in favor of it. They were pretty happy with rail service until they didn't have it.
Well, that's good.
So,
Yeah, mostly McGuire. Who is McGuire? Oh, he's one of the senators.
yeah.
He said this is one of the largest environmental threats the North Coast has seen in decades. Coal security is the most damaging source of energy out there. I mean, he's not wrong.
No,
They're
he
not going
really
to be the ones
isn't,
burning the coal.
but the transportation of it is a different thing from the use of it.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that you are tacitly supporting the use of it if you support the transportation of it, which it's kind of in his interest to be staunchly against. That's.
Yeah.
And so
But if he's
I get
supporting the
it.
transportation of it, he's supporting the interstate highways, which
Yeah.
allow for transportation if the railroad is not there.
Okay, yeah,
Hey,
but I
I've
don't think they're
seen
going to be
this one
transporting
before.
coal via truck.
If there's no train, then how else?
I mean, they're probably just
Truck
not going to
doesn't
transport it.
by rail.
They're probably either going to use a different port, or they're
Yeah.
just not going to make this deal. Which, option number one, I mean, I guess that's sort of outside of his scope. And option number two is what he would be wanting to happen. He doesn't want the shadowy Wyoming coal barons to be able to sell
Yeah.
the coal. I get it.
Especially because it's on top of their trail.
Oh, are they trying to trail this?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. That's also...
So there's many angles of this. They're just all kind of coming together.
Okay, go get my brake club. I need the Waynator.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what was really funny? This just makes me think of the old Saratoga and North Creek situation when
Yeah.
they were trying to get the railroad line shut down, and the environmentalists and the trail people, which apparently are not one and the same, like the park people and the trail people teamed up as like okay, we're gonna push the
Consortium.
railroad out of here because it's bankrupt anyway, which it was because it was Iowa Pacific. The railroad shut down, and they were like, all right, you're done, get out of here. And then the rail people and the forest people turned on one another because the trail people
Yeah.
the trail people wanted a trail, but the park people actually wanted nothing at all. Like, it was in their interest to support the trail until the trail was the number one option, and then it was in their interest to turn against them because they wanted the whole landscape to just return to the way it was instead of a paved multi-use trail or anything. So there's a lot of angles here, and I do think it is kind of a pipe dream that we would see this, but I mean, as far as this rail line goes, it's certainly the most realistic proposal to reactivate it in,
Compared to building a
decades.
new one, for sure.
Well, in fairness, though, building a new one does satisfy the trail people because they still get their trail.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's an interesting one. We'll have to see if it goes any further than this. I did look at the I actually just had open the thing about the town, like what the town said, and then I didn't actually glean anything from it. The Eureka Times standard reports, mostly from, yeah, oh right, that's right. It was basically all from the senators. North Coast lawmakers have vowed to block a secretive plan to restore an abandoned stretch of rail line, blah blah blah. So they're also saying that the filing about this has failed to satisfy the standards for exempting rail banking the line. Basically saying a proposal to submit an offer of financial assistance should take priority over trail use proposal because of the strong congressional intent to preserve rail service wherever possible. So I'm not sure exactly what this is saying, but
Maybe it's just a thing with California and they just want to preserve rail corridors.
well, in general, the powers that be want to preserve rail service and rail corridors, but
I don't know, I'd have to look at like
yeah.
a California state rail plan to figure this one out.
Yeah. Also, the executive director of the NCRA, the North Coast Railway Authority, called the plan absurd and advised the company to stop the secrecy and do their homework. So, yeah, I mean, this is a much more detailed article. You can get to it through the Transmag article, or through the Trains.com article, where it says the Eureka Times Standard reports. So if you want to read more about this, there is more here. But yeah, I mean, there's the obviously there's the coal company that wants the railroad. There's the trail people that want the trail. There's the senator who just doesn't want coal in general, and there is the NCRA, which apparently does want the railroad, but is saying, not you guys, you're not good at what you're trying to do. Like,
Yeah.
you have failed to satisfy. This is like the FRA, or who was it? Was it the FRA telling CSX to resubmit their thing again and again?
Yeah, that was it.
It's almost 4 o'clock. Oh. Because you're loud. Anyway. So what do we want to jump onto from here? Because I do think that... I'm glad we got to pull that apart, because the moment that article came up, I was like, ooh, this is something.
Yeah.
Like, there's something here that we can dig into. And I do think it's something I'd like to check back on sooner or later. But, actually, speaking of Pan Am, TBA, what's going on?
I was actually just looking at all this stuff. Amtrak wanted to say, asks federal regulators to impose conditions.
Yeah. Amtrak has been against this since the beginning.
Amtrak's like, no.
Again, which seems a little strange because they don't like Pan Am, but I think they just don't like the way this merger is taking place. There are competitive
They
concerns.
also probably don't want to deal with CSX.
I mean, that's also true. I'd think anything would be better than
I almost feel like
Pan Am, but
G&W buys Pan Am.
Well, the thing with Pan Am is it's so small that you can get into and get your complaints into management easier. CSX is this huge thing.
yeah, that's true.
So I feel like they just hire like an accountant that's just like, where's my weekly
Reject.
reported Amtrak train delays? Oh, it's right here. Okay, give it to me.
so. Then
Throw it
this
in the
Trash.
trash.
Hold on. Let TBA go for a second.
there's this article on about it too. It's like the Canadian Pacific says CSX Pan Am merger threatens viability of the Hoosick Tunnel route?
Yeah.
Why?
So the
Does
reason
CP even use that?
I think CP does make use of it, not like directly, but indirectly due to or thanks to probably a partnership
Traffic lights?
with
I
NS.
thought that was
Not
like mostly NS.
not trackage rights. It is Pan Am and NS that run it right now. But let me dig into this article a little bit, or somebody read through this while I explain about the viability of the Hoosick Tunnel route. So the thing is, with the way this is set up now, and we've mentioned this on previous podcasts, if you look in the first article, I believe, the Justice Department raises competitive concerns. You can see the map of what they're trying to do. And they're going to... Basically, CSX is going to get everything north and east of Worcester and Ayer. So the line's into Boston and the line's all the way up to Maine. But they don't really care about the section between New York and Mechanicsville and Rotterdam Junction through the Hoosick Tunnel, through East Deerfield, and to Ayer. So basically all of the old B&M that ran the northern tier of Massachusetts. So they don't...
Yeah, I'm looking at the map on this article, and like the CSX line looks like it would pretty much just make the Hoosick Tunnel route rather needless.
Yeah, the only reason trains really go through the Hoosick Tunnel right now, aside from what little local traffic there is, including, I think, there's some slurry, there's some locals, but the main drivers there, which is NS 22 and 23K, are intermodal trains. And they go through the Hoosick Tunnel because it's NS and not CSX. And once CSX buys that, all of that traffic is going to end up going over CSX because of an agreement with NS. So,
what's the point of the line?
That's a huge...
That's what this is about.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage for... I mean, it's a huge advantage for CSX because they control then the vast majority of the traffic. But also, they have a double stack route, and the Hoosick Tunnel is too short. You have to single stack trains through the Hoosick Tunnel. Which is part of why NS is not, like, unhappy with this, because it means they'll get trackage rights through State Line Tunnel, and they won't have to spend hours in Mechanicville making their trains short by spreading them out.
But I do wonder why CP
is
like, hey.
Yeah, why does CP care? Did anyone check this out while we were chit-chatting?
Yeah, CP seeks that they require CSX and G&W keep open all Pan Am Southern gateways through the Hoosick Tunnel. Mm-hmm. CP requests or requires Pan Am... sorry, I lost my spot. Pan Am Southern to maintain the former B&M main line at or above pre-merger levels.
Right.
They require that Pan Am maintain current service levels, including frequency, transit times, and consistency. That the STB monitor the impact of the merger on the B&M main line and ability to impose additional conditions to protect the viability of the route, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's all that's listed on that.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, so CP wants these conditions to make sure. CP says the Pan Am Southern is the only viable route into the heart of New England from the west, and that is true. The CSX route, as it stands, only goes as far as Boston or really Worcester or Framingham. It doesn't go all the way into Boston anymore. And I think their main concern is because of the fact that because CSX has a lot of stuff going on in northern New England, they're saying that potential partnerships would become much more troublesome if the Hoosick Tunnel line is degrading. And they're worried about, okay, and if all the main traffic goes on to the CSX line, it goes onto the B&A through State Line Tunnel, there's not a lot of reason to keep the former Pan Am line in good repair, which, in fairness, they already don't, but this would be even less of a reason. He actually mentions that it's possible that the owners of the railroad would not restore service if there's another Hoosick Tunnel collapse like the one that happened last year. Which, you know, would be bad, because then you'd only have one north or east-west route. The other thing is, you definitely would not have any clearance improving things happening to the Hoosick Tunnel once all the stacks are out of there. Currently, NS needing to run double stacks or wanting to run double stacks is the only reason there's so much pressure on the state and on Pan Am to do this future work on the Hoosick Tunnel. So it makes the whole area, I mean, it makes it a lot less competitive in general. And CSX will hold so much power. And here's the other thing. So who mentioned about Amtrak does not want to deal with CSX?
Me.
Here's what it says in Amtrak's response. That in the area, Amtrak wanted to run a seasonal train through the State Line Tunnel, which would run from Albany to Pittsfield. And it would be called the Berkshire Flyer. It would actually run from New York City, but it would be an extension of, like, some Empire Service trains. And CSX said no.
CSX was like, no.
It's a 36.9 mile section of the Berkshire subdivision, and they said the extension of an Empire Service train for 2 round trips would require a traffic study and capacity improvements. And CSX did not conduct a traffic study or require capacity improvements as part of its merger that would allow the same number of trains from NS to divert over State Line. So, yeah.
So CSX was like, no.
CSX said no to Amtrak, but they said yes to NS over basically the exact same thing. The only difference is what CSX was getting in the deal. So, you could assume that CSX's response to Amtrak was kind of bogus.
Yeah. They said no to Amtrak, but we're like, come on, NS.
Yeah, come on, NS. If you give us Pan Am, if you let us have Pan Am Southern,
we'll let you do this.
Yeah, we'll let you do what you want. You'll save hours in Mechanicsville. But
so NS is like shit.
Yeah, but that and
That's
the fact,
deal.
Yeah, that and the fact that the Justice Department is raising concerns about competition in New England. There might be some bigger things in the works here than just some people not liking this deal. Which, there are some really big things in the works in the other merger mania that we're here to talk about this week. Now, I kind of wanted to save this to the end.
We need to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wanted to save this to the end, but it's really important that we talk about this. And this is the most major thing. I mean, we've got a couple of other discussion topics, but they're not as meaty, I think. Before we move on, though, does anybody have anything else to say about the CSX Pan Am merger?
They need to make up their minds already.
Well, CSX
they should have a consolidation company that takes over the failing Pan Am, and in 30 years gets split between CSX and NS anyways.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
No, this is a brand new idea.
If I'm honest, the best idea that I feel like has come through about what to do with Pan Am, because everybody knows Pan Am is a disaster, and has been since
I just
the
typed
moment.
a lot, I'm sorry.
Bruh. It has been since the moment they were created. The proposal that I had heard was, honestly, that the various states of New England should get together and purchase Pan Am. Because it is one of the things where New England is dense enough that it makes sense to run a lot more passenger trains than you've got. It's not industrial enough to really make a good profit off of this thing anyway, no matter who's running it. And you don't want to lose it. And, there are a lot of cases where people propose various nationalizations or quasi-nationalizations for pieces of railroad infrastructure in the U.S., or sometimes all of it. But I think this is an extraordinarily valid case that obviously is never going to happen. It makes a lot of sense to me that this network in particular, because it's, until you get up into northern Maine, all of New England is basically one giant metro area. And the density of rail lines we have means that you could get away with a lot of passenger trains that do do pretty well. We just don't have them. I mean, part of that's because Pan Am. Part of that's because of, like, New Hampshire is consistently broke. Bless you.
Thank you.
And part of it is because of a legacy of declining railroads in the region over the last, 70 years. But there's a lot
Okay, they're trying to come back.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. And, I mean, lately, Massachusetts has been doing its thing. Amtrak, as mentioned, was trying to run some more trains into Massachusetts. And Maine loves to swing its weight around with the help of the Northern New England Passenger Rail Association, which, admittedly, is in favor of this merger. But
hot take. MBTA needs to buy Pan Am.
yeah, no, that would basically be what I'm talking about, or similar to. If we have one of these, government-sponsored commuter companies or something like that, it's just with an outfit like Pan Am, the way it is, or really any way it's going to be, there just isn't enough money there to do everything you would want to do with these railroads. So you need something, you need some better backing than is ever going to be achieved under a private banner, I think, for Northern New England. But, oh well. Again, I'm sure we'll hear more about this going down the road. Talk to me about who wants to roll into CPKCS.
Bruh. What the
Crab
hell
rate
is going
intensifies.
on?
So, we have figured out that CN is out $1 billion.
You've been on this computer for a long time.
Oh, and there's a little squabble over in the corner.
Yeah.
That's some great losses right there.
There's
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Aside from the $1 billion loss, we have drama. We have KCS Swiggity Swooty. CP Swiggity Swooty coming in for that KCS. We have CN's bid to make to put KCS in a voting trust fail, and apparently that means the whole merger is out the window because the whole it feels like the sky is falling for that. KCS.
It doesn't.
Go ahead.
What the voting trust is, it's kind of a preemptive move, and with the government just denying it, it kind of sends the message of, yeah, we're probably not going to let this pass muster. Try something else.
Try again. You shake the magic 8 ball and it says try again.
Yeah.
Hey, we're finally getting a cam on Revelstoke, or a train on Revelstoke.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a Rocky Mountaineer. That'd be cool.
The first train throughout the entire podcast, and it's right at towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, we've still got.
Oh well, we got the car show, Albert.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that was worth it. We have
This kind of
guys,
reminds me.
Givos on stacks is what I'm predicting.
Ferraris on
great.
stacks is what I'm predicting.
EMD's on manifest. Knowing GB.
No, and
I
it's
hear
the
GE.
Selkirk. It's a Selkirk that just comes through. They restored it
right.
when we
Yeah.
weren't looking.
Yo, look at the kid waving.
They took the Royal Hudson out for a trip today.
Yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
Givos.
I hear Givos too.
I see Big
Are
Red.
they on stacks? Oh, it's coal.
Sick!
Somewhere in California, a senator just got very angry.
Yeah.
There we go.
Alternatively, we're in TRS 2019 right now.
Yeah.
On the Canadian route.
Anyway,
guys, this is actually just
Actually,
the
facts, though.
Horseman MPSO because the only
Yeah.
thing we have are CP, Givos, and coal.
Yeah.
we have CNN. We have CN engines, don't we?
Yeah.
CNN.
CNN, yeah.
All right.
No, yeah, I wanted to talk about this. So, I'm glad you brought up that point about the voting trust. It is not the actual vote. It's not like this merger has been denied, but it is a huge red flag to say that the merger will be denied. And because of that,
It's something where, with SPSF, where they said you don't
Yep.
go into a dance just only looking at one partner. You
Yep.
wait to find the person to do a tango with.
Yep.
CN's like drastically trying to grab for the tango, and KCS is just kind of realizing
Yeah.
I might not want a tango.
yeah,
It takes to the tango. It
they're like,
really does.
huh, I might have messed up here. And you know what?
Yeah.
They did, because let's just skip to the end. Here's the breaking news. KCS has accepted CP's latest merger offer as of today, as of like a couple hours ago. So, yeah, it's I
Wow.
wanted to come back to the drama really quick because CN's second largest investor urged CN to not only drop its bid for Kansas Southern, he called for the resignation of the board chairman and the CEO of
Yep.
CN. He's like, "Oh, you guys, you messed up. Get out of here." Like, so he's their second
You
largest
done-
investor.
Go.
Who is their first largest investor?
I don't know.
CN.
And before it's themselves.
They wrote any attempt to salvage the KCS merger would be futile. From the start, it has been a clear and obvious bid that would fail. That the board sanctions the bid together with potential fees of over $2 billion is an egregious failure of oversight, and there must be accountability. CN needs a change of senior management and a shakeup of the board. That process should begin today. Holy crap. I just want to say, also, I like, they said Vina has a proven track record, so they want this guy, Vina, in as chairman, it seems like, or CEO. And he served as the chief operating officer from February 2013 to July 2016. Believe it or not, this guy joined CN in 1977 as a brakeman and ended up being the COO under Hunter Harrison.
It do be like that. There's
my
been
God.
plenty of CEOs that started out as brakemen.
This is the way.
and made their way up.
It's just nice to see
Hunter
it.
Harrison.
Yeah, a
Dun,
moment
dun,
of
dun.
a moment of silence for Hunter Harrison.
E.
Yeah, all right, moment's over. Yeah, so that was a disaster. Which it's funny because from the beginning, we were like, remember when we were like, hey, this seems like CN is just doing this for kicks. Like, it doesn't
Home
feel
record.
like they're serious. Because they just like, we're gonna throw a few more $1 billion and see if we can screw up this CP-KCS merger.
Yeah, well, how can you be serious with that much parallel track?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even that much. I mean, I get why it's a bad idea, but it's not.
I mean, if you want to talk about parallel lines, SPSF.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not SPSF.
I
parallel
mean-
track, but
It was only bad in Texas and California with PSF.
yeah,
Yeah,
only the
Arizona.
two
Two states where
largest
they
and
run.
most important states in question.
Yeah.
Full train.
Well, Arizona really had like 97% of the trackage.
Arizona's.
Yeah.
They were fine. Arizona's fine.
They could have made it.
They could have made it. Yeah.
Yo,
You could've
G
kept
was
the
on
West
DPU.
That was a long train.
That was a lot
Yeah.
of coal. PSR could have prevented
You just-
this.
Killed another senator in California.
Yeah.
I think by the time
I'm not
that
saying
train
they're
got through, there were
dying.
at least
Jesus.
2 or 3. That was
They're
2
like
or 3
flies.
that got real mad.
So yeah. By the way, I just want to throw this out there. This is the even more fun wrinkle. Another piece of the timeline here. So the voting trust is rejected. Immediately, the second a number 2 investor calls for upheaval of the board of directors, the administration of CN. CP immediately swoops in with a second offer without even being asked. KCS is like, we have received an unsolicited proposal from Canadian Pacific, reaffirming its interest in acquiring KCS. Just like, hey, we're still here, by the way. You want this? You want this? So, I want to see. CP reiterated that holders of KCS preferred stock would receive $37.50 in cash for each share held. How much is it overall? What is the total price of this? It
Yeah.
doesn't say.
Well, I mean, you could get that number by the amount of shares.
Right. I don't think that number, that 37.50 number, is the right one to use, though. I'm not sure. But yeah, so then there was an article saying KCS is expected to say yes to this proposal, and then they did. Meanwhile, they're threatening CN. Actually, holy crap, it's the same guy. One of Canadian
Oh, no.
National's biggest shareholders is threatening to wage war on the leadership of the Class 1 Railroad if it does not drop its bid for Kansas City
Yeah.
Southern.
I
Wow,
enjoy
that's
this
that's one of
shareholder. He knows what's up.
the shareholders like, no, the fuck you are not.
Yeah, he's
No.
like, you guys screwed up big time. You guys were messing around and took it way too far. And if you don't recant right now, you're gonna go through hell. Like, I'm gonna make your life hell.
This
And hired the same firm that helped oust.
And that was the
Hunter
CP
Harrison.
shareholder?
Really? Yeah, that was
I
the
think-
that was the CN
I think.
shareholder.
So CN is the CN
Because
shareholder
it
is
said
like, oh,
same firm that helped oust CPCO in 2012, which I think was Hunter Harrison at that time.
That was Harrison.
No,
Canadian
Oh.
Pacific Railway CEO Hunter Harrison is retiring at the end of this month. The company announced Wednesday he took over. Actually, no. He's the one who took over in 2012.
Okay, so
He's
he's the
not the
guy who
one
took
that got
over from Hunter Harrison, and they ousted him.
No. Hunter Harrison took over after this outing.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yikes!
whip.
So Hunter Harrison's going to come out of the grave and take over
Yes.
CN.
Again,
Yeah.
this is
Again.
what happens.
Can do it again.
Don't hire this group.
Don't hire this man. They'll summon Hunter Harrison,
They've got the Abominomicon out and just like,
the Edonomicon.
Yeah.
yes.
Bombcraft be like.
Yes.
The Scotchonomicon, or the what was
Yes,
it from the most recent
Scotchonomicon.
CGP Grey video?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's the deets. There's the very short version of what's going on with CP and CN and KCS. How quickly? I know we were just talking about the trip to see the KCS before it goes away, and I was like, oh, it doesn't look like anything's gonna happen now. Literally the following day, this happens.
Yeah.
What do we think? How quickly is this gonna go through? I mean,
Well, it
Next
seemed
couple
like
months?
all the regulatory boards were okay with it.
I heard
and-
that CN has 5 days to appeal the decision, even though the FOA or whatever told them they can't.
Oh, yeah,
CN
that's
has
true.
5 days to make a counteroffer or something of that nature.
All
CP and KCS already have their voting trust approved. They
Wow.
had that before the whole entire CN thing.
oh, that's right. That's what kicked this whole thing off. It was like, oh, look, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen, and then CN was like, here's more money.
So it
Let's-
could
we have
go
to see what
faster
CN
if they
wants
have
to
the
do
voting
now.
trust. But remember, the SPSF, they had voting trust.
Also fair.
And then
And we all know how that turned out.
yeah. So
Yeah, guys, look at the BNSF.
SP took like 2 years after the voting trust.
There was another thing that was in here that got mentioned, which was that this acceptance, right, of this merger, or sorry, the rejection of the CN KCS merger, basically sends up a huge flare to all the other Class 1s. Like, we're not going to approve any big mergers. Like,
Yeah.
CP KCS is the only one that's going to fly, more than likely, if anything. Anything bigger than that just isn't happening. Which,
And I think that's partially due to KCS is exempt from the new 2008 merger rules.
yeah, because it's too small. It's like a Class
so-
1.5.
I think they still
Wouldn't
have
it
that
be a-
for the CP routing, but if it's anything else, they can remove that exemption.
Gotcha.
Class 1.5.
Yeah, I
Class
remember the
1.5.
debate on that.
It's exactly what it is.
I am tired.
You tired?
Alright, East, you wanna
You
That's
bedtime?
shotgun it?
Yeah, alright. Well, let's talk about some hurricanes then.
Yo!
Here in
I'm running
Cracks
out of
knuckle.
green.
So a hurricane hit Louisiana and
Stop me if
somehow
you've heard
did
this
more
one
damage
before.
to New York. What?
I said stop me if you've heard this one before.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. So they canceled a bunch of Amtrak services.
yeah. Everything in the South that went across like New Orleans was canceled, and then
No.
somehow it made its way up north. It's like, oh yeah, it's gonna dissipate. Don't worry, guys.
And then it like demolished New Jersey Transit, specifically New Jersey
Yeah.
Transit. I don't know what happened, but we had one of the guys in the chat, Vert, just message me like, or message us like, okay, so I have arrived in Hoboken and they've canceled all service back. I cannot get back to my car. And it's like,
Ooh.
oh no, that's bad.
Yeah, a NJT train got flooded out. I'm not sure if there's a news article for it, if I just saw it on Instagram, but a guy was like, yeah, my train got stuck. Everyone's off it. It's just kind of sitting here now. Who wants to go take a look in the cab?
Yeah, there was an NJT train that actually got wedged like in a hurricane barrier.
Oof.
Like they tried to go through, and then the water rose and the train got stuck, and they couldn't close the hurricane barrier, and so a bunch of other stuff got flooded because of this train.
Good God.
Oops,
Yeah.
we went too far.
God. Yeah, so I don't know whose genius idea it was to like ford on through the giant lake that had formed in front of them instead of like stopping the train. But yeah, great, solid. I mean,
You
everything's
know-
back to normal now, thankfully. The Metro North.
Can I just say,
Go
I
ahead.
really like the New Haven P42 paint scheme.
Oh, it's hot. I love it. I actually got to.
So-
You mean the P42s in Guinness or something else?
There's a P42 in McGinnis in or well, actually, I think it's a P32, but either way.
Yeah, it's P32s because it's dual mode.
But point is, Jivo's on McGinnis. Or McGinnis
I mean,
on
it is
Jivo's.
It is a GE.
It is.
So I guess tag Jivo.
I had the pleasure of seeing this engine once. I was taking a train into New York City, and it was running up the side of the Hudson.
Was it the New York City's subway that just recently got like the new, super new cars, or was that Boston?
They've both been getting new cars, but I think some of the New York City ones are newer. They
Was it
recently were able to retire a fleet of really, really old cars. Meanwhile, Boston is constantly having to sideline their new cars because every week they find something else that's wrong with them.
I remember when I went into Boston and with Michael, and he was like afraid to go into the underground because the subway because it's something he's never really done before.
Yeah.
And we go in and we're like, it was under one of like the bigger stations
Mm-hmm.
of an underground, but it was just really old looking.
Oh yeah,
The
been really decrepit.
R211s, MTA.
And
gotcha.
when one of the Blue Line trains pulled in, the entire thing was just rust. Nothing but rust.
The train.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the Blue Line cars are a little rough. They also run underneath the they run underneath the bay. Not that they get soggy under there, but they have a lot of stretches that are outside. But then again, so do all of the lines except for the orange line, I think.
I don't know how it just got that bad though.
Do you have a picture? Did you take a picture of it?
No, because I didn't think to take a picture at the time. But, like, think of something that's just been sitting in the sun for 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Just like sitting. The paint was completely chipped. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, the Blue Line cars are old as well. I mean,
That's pretty bad.
From 66, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, the Red Line and
So-
Orange Line cars are also just about as old, but like I said, they're being replaced. I don't think there are any plans right now to replace the Blue Line cars because they're a rare breed. They're weird. They're really small because they have to fit through old trolley tunnels. They are both third rail and overhead. And
Do they use both of them?
yeah, they do. They actually
Huh.
there's some videos. Let me see if I can find one really quick. But
I know by the airport they use the over.
Like, I wonder if the CTA used to do that with the yellow line.
I'm pretty sure the CTA, the yellow line has always sort of been its own thing, and they changed over from solely overhead to solely third rail recently.
Why would you go
Yeah,
backwards? Like, why would you go from overhead to third rail? That just seems counterintuitive.
I mean, it depended. Because
Actually,
the Sacramento Northern did that too.
I can
Because
understand.
it was easier to have third rail in San Francisco as opposed to a whole bunch of overhead wires.
The other
Yeah,
Wire,
but-
you get a
reason,
bunch of horses.
specifically for the CTA, the other reason why they would do that is because it makes the fleet homogeneous. Like,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, I guess that makes sense for the CTA.
yeah.
Rod gauge.
Yeah, where's my 7-foot trolley lines?
They want to be able to just like put anything on it.
Yeah. Hold on. Blue Line Airport. Let me see if
Also,
I can get a good video of this.
the CTA cars with the overhead wires just look dumb.
They do look really silly.
You look dumb.
I know I look dumb. You don't gotta tell me, bro. Ooh, yellow line derailment.
Oh no.
Ooh.
I feel like a metro derailing is not a good thing.
No. Oh, is this? Hold on.
Oh, bro, it's an old article. It happened last year, but still.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
I want to find a spot in this video where you can see them transition because I've done it before. I've seen it before. Although they used to transition on the fly, well, like right after they came out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I found it. Hold on. At
I
about
think that's
a minute 40. I'll share this with the start time, and I'll also put this in the cargoes. Copy that. Post it here. Oh, that's a rough derailment.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Oh, the blue line things are cute.
They are. They're a rare breed. They're shaped funny because
Yeah.
not because they need to be, but because the company that makes them just makes trains that are shaped like that.
it's the aesthetic.
Yeah. They like to build like hexagonal trains. So yeah, at a minute 40, you can see them put the pantograph.
Damn. He was braking so hard into the station that the whole train leaned forward a bit when he.
Or was it
Yeah.
leaning forward to begin with?
No, but that's like I said, the overhead wire starts right at the exit of the old trolley tunnel, and they used to have a policy of the moment you pull out of the tunnel, you just put up the pantographs while you're still moving. And then, for whatever reason, probably because something broke, they changed that to you pull into the airport station, and then while you're stopped, you put the pantographs up.
I love the sound they make, like as they're starting to get going. That little like, of the motors.
Mm-hmm.
Even the L
The
trains
whine
here
of
do
the
that.
motors.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like all electric motors.
Yeah.
They do that. The 5000s and the
It's a
7000s
great
do it,
sound.
and it's a great sound. One of my favorite.
There's
It's even better one. Like it's a really big engine.
Would you ever want to know why they make that sound?
Yes.
Because there was so you know how I posted the DJ Hammers Trains video a little while ago of well, I posted a few. There was one that I pinged Mason in that was about the the Times Square shuttle, and there was one where he visited Essex and stuff like that. He is a subway historian. He's really great. I'll throw him down in the advertisements. But he did an AMA on Reddit. Basically said, I am a subway expert, or a New York City subway expert. He did this on the New York City subway.
There's a sign there that says raised pantographs.
Yep. Yeah, because if you try to leave the station without that, you're going to have a bad time.
You're gonna get stuck.
Yeah. You
Oops,
won't
we've
make it
gone
very
too
far. Oops, we went too far. Let me throw this down in the advertisements. DJ Hammers. And I'll see if I can find the Q&A that was done. Meanwhile, Tyler, can you tell us about Railroads Online?
All right. Speaking of sounds, crashes, and I guess having a good time, Railroads Online. We started
American
to
Valley
public.
and Sumter Valley and
Yes. The
We've
Septa
started to
Valley.
go more public with this stuff because we finally got all of the go ahead. But yesterday we did run a dev stream. We are thinking about doing this as a weekly thing. You can see we now have the Steam page has been approved. It is up. You can go see a little bit of one of our plans are. We have a Discord server that has more of that discussed, and the trailer as well. That's going to be in the cargoes. Words Online is basically, I've gotten a lot of comments of, this is the game we've been asking for. Just kind of give you a brief idea of what it is.
3D locomotion.
Combined Railroad Tycoon Free with Train Sim World. And you've got it.
It's,
With Derail Valley.
yeah, I was gonna say I would say combine it with Derail Valley. It's what it seems more like to me.
Yeah. Oh,
But
okay, I guess, yeah, in that respect. Let me go throw some screenshots.
It's like
up.
old-timey American Derail Valley.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if any of you have questions as to what the game's like, what's all coming, I guess I'll run a mini Q&A here.
yeah,
Here's
you guys can
my-
ask some questions while I try to find this thing. I also was not on the stream, so I kind of would want an abridged version of that. Like, you could tell me what went on, if there was anything exciting.
So Tyler, horses.
Horses, that's something that we've actually started internal discussions
Steam-powered
about.
horses.
Beta testing?
Exactly.
Beta testing, the early access version of the game will be releasing on October 1st, so if y'all want to join, it'll be available.
Yeah.
Price.
Before then, we are talking about getting some keys out to streamers, so potentially something there. Nothing's been set in stone yet. I've been getting thumbs up on some of that, but I just need Steam to give me, Gaben needs to give me the keys.
We
Give me the keys.
I think a couple episodes ago we sort of unofficially announced that I would be doing a series in it with
Yeah.
one of these keys, or probably even if I don't get a key, I might do a series in it. But
It's not multiplayer yet, right?
It's multiplayer. It's been built as multiplayer.
Oh.
Iron Horseman Railroad gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Railroad's on
So,
So did Keanu figure out a price yet or no?
can't say.
Okay.
Oh boy!
That's one of the things of it's hard for me because I can't
Oh, I
say
just scared
whether
the
it's
shit out of myself.
worth the money or not because I don't know what the money is.
I just scared the shit out of myself.
Good job.
I'd assume it's worth money.
Yeah, if
I
you
mean, yeah.
listen, the live stream is going to stay up on the Twitch channel for the next 2 weeks, and you can go watch for it. We
Is
went
it-
over all the equipment in the game, which is all historically accurate.
Garrett.
No.
Heisler?
yes,
We have a Heisler.
planned.
We have a Climax as well. We don't have a Shay yet, but we have plans for them.
Oh, okay.
We have plans for a lot of things. There's 70 locos planned in the base tech tree.
Sheesh!
It's gonna take a while. It's gonna be over a couple of years. Passenger service is a big thing people were asking about. That is planned.
NPCs!
We were looking. The largest map we could probably do is something like 400 square kilometers.
Oh my god.
But that's the
That's
limit for
huge.
UE4. Then that becomes sort of you can make those maps, but it's going to be the limit of the server.
Gotcha. So we can't do all of the United States
You can't do all of the United States yet.
yet.
Can you
Maybe.
do, like, Rhode Island?
We'll see.
Eight or
what
I
five.
mean, we could absolutely do Rhode Island. Wait. What did you say?
Yeah, we-
400 square miles?
happens.
Kilometers.
400 square kilometers. Okay, so you could do a decent chunk of Rhode Island.
It might. I don't know exactly all of what it is. It's a ridiculous amount, though. Like this, right now we're only using like 16 square kilometers, and it feels really long.
Actually, I have a curious question. How are the maps created?
The map. So, currently we're using a procedural system.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Really?
That's
It
cool.
is. We only have one base map for the everybody will use, and then later on we're going to add in more maps. We are looking at the potential of using digital elevation map data from like USGS.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Experience
this
them.
is the way.
Whether or not that will be an option for Workshop, we have not determined yet. A lot of the stuff with Workshop is just kind of a question mark. We hope. And I have a bunch of different creators that have come up in the Discord server or privately, just the whole entire team talking about, could we do this? Could I do this? Or, and it's great to see that sort of thing because it's almost like we're going to build a mini DLS for this game.
Yeah.
Yes, the DLS Pog.
Yeah, well, it's going to be for Steam, so we can't limit the download speed. So you're welcome.
Thanks, Gaben.
Yeah. Big question that a lot of people have had: are there quotable whistles? Yes, there are quotable whistles. Finally, I know it's weird. It actually is. I'm so used to just pressing the button and then whenever I can quill it. It's like the best feeling in the world.
So, and I had to throw this out there because we mentioned it earlier. So you guys are talking about horses so you can get around the map quicker, which I think is a hugely great addition. But as you guys are modelers, living beings are tough things to model. Right? So,
Yes.
Rhythm's going to be shutting down.
What?
Yeah.
Bruh.
So, you guys should build just like a steampunk, steam-powered horse thing, and then it can have its own tech tree. And you can have other steam-powered stuff, and at the end you get the giant spider from Wild Wild West.
We've talked about
Bro.
crazy, weird things in the past, and it's just sort of boiled down to we want to do everything as it was historically.
Is that not historical? The spider?
Okay.
Come on, it's in the documentary.
Really
With
historical
Will
is
Smith.
not. No.
Can
But
I
other people
have a
have
cow
asked about,
farm?
can I paint things green?
Can I
Only
paint
if it
things
was green.
So I
So
can
while
paint my
we're-
Denver and Rio Grande narrow gauge engines green, right?
Yeah, so you can paint K28s green, maybe K27s that need
Yeah.
A37s. That will be options.
Yo, the
You
Dolphins
can't
are playing.
you just can't paint them red like you do in.
Mac Jones.
Well, I mean, you can't paint them red until someone releases it on the workshop that it's a red version.
Yeah, I already have somebody who's threatening to do the blue cookie.
Oh
I have
no!
a person who's threatening to do a lot of Hollywood bastardization.
Oh no!
Her title in the private
Bumblebee.
Oh
Bumblebee.
god, I was afraid to ask
Yeah.
about
server.
Bumblebee.
Okay, Bumblebee is good though.
No!
Bumblebee is
Green
great.
jacket.
Bumblebee. Bumblebee.
I will have none but bumblebees on my day.
You know what? Hey,
Yes.
Tyler, I have a more out of left field idea for you that could be
All right.
useful for map exploration. And this is a lot less of a joke than the last thing I said. It's not totally serious, but it is an idea. If you want to throw in some crazy exploration goodies, right, to help you see
Handcar.
more of the map. Well, a handcar. I'm talking about without tracks.
Model T.
A hot air balloon.
That
Oh
would be Easter egg
shit!
game.
Yo, can we get Zeppelins, please?
Oh god.
No, but like
Um,
a hot air balloon would actually be awesome.
I mean, you don't necessarily know where you're going to end up in the thing because the wind is just going to take you, but you can go up.
Yeah, we've talked about modeling weather systems. We've talked about a little bit on modeling different forms of transportation. Of course, that's not our goal.
Mhm.
So that's going to be a questionable thing of in the future, maybe. Like,
Okay.
I would be all right with doing, Brett's Model T just for the heck of it. Just go drive around and you're 7 foot tall. We joke that he's too tall for the 1870s, so he's gonna have a hard time with this game.
Oh, he is.
But you've got the whole entire thing of, is that really our priority? Right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build the base work for the game, and so if
Wait,
you want
Tyler.
to do German equipment, the workshop's going to be open for you. And we've talked internally about doing other countries. None of us are, at least on the modeling team, proficient enough in other countries to do that. But maybe in the future we'll have more people come on.
And this is all 3-foot gauge, yeah?
It's all 3-foot gauge right now. The
Can we
workshop
please
will
get
be-
the Disney engines?
Oh, God.
Oh no.
I actually
God.
was curious to know if there's anything planned off of the Boston Revere Beach and Lynn.
The Boston River Beach and Lynn.
Because that's the only...
The coaches are something that I'm thinking of doing. And then we have Dan of Transforge. He's working
Touchdown for
closely.
Tua.
He's giving us some of his models, so shout out to him. Thank you so much for the 820Cs or whatever the heck he gave me from the Carson, Colorado, which I still need to work on.
I want to take a shot in the dark and ask, is there anything from Roaring Camp going to be in the game?
Probably, because I think that's all Westside Lumber Company stuff.
On the west side, we have a bunch of their shays planned.
Okay.
We just got plans for them from California State Road Museum.
I know there's...
So, Tyler, I have a question based on workshop content. Will it just be locomotives you can have in the workshop, or will you be able to make, like, 2-foot track?
We want to open it up
It's what
to
the people want.
having other track gauges, having other buildings, having potentially even different maps and all of this. So basically, we just give you the base game, and you can do whatever the heck you want and change everything.
So you're telling me that I can build a Silver Vista and just travel around the map in it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we
Yes.
might beat you to that. Look on the Grand Narrow Gauge cars, so I have the deets.
Yeah.
And is there an EBT mic in the tech tree?
No,
didn't think
that's
so.
one of the big questions that comes up. There's basically 3 reasons as to why there's not an EBT mic on there, and really EBT in general. EBT is kind of one of these oddities that is, you've got Southern Valve gear, you've got all this other stuff on a Mikado of narrow gauge. It's weird.
Young Valve gear.
We've got, it's such an anomaly that while it's kind of in the same role as like a K36, it's not as representative of everything. A K36 in our view is more representative of what the majority of narrow gauge got in terms of technology. The EBT was out there doing a lot of different stuff than what everybody else was, because they're kind of in their own little corner of the world at this point in time, at least. And while narrow gauge itself is basically its own little corners in the world, they were even more isolated than what everyone else is doing. As well, a lot of the examples that we've chosen, because we've done the tech trees based off of primarily tractive effort, the EBT mics go into a range where we have other examples, and we have modelers that are willing to make the other examples, but not the EBT as much. So, and it's also, we get a lot of shouting about it, so it's kind of like, if you screw up a little bit on those, you're probably going to get massacred. So we'll leave the EBT to the workshop, and frankly, I wouldn't be out of the question of making like number 12, for example. But it's not my priority. I have other things that I want to do with this.
How hard would it, with permission, to port models from other games into Rails Online? Like if Subpart Productions wanted to port his 3-foot stuff.
I couldn't tell you exactly, but it shouldn't be ridiculously hard. The model range, the quality, at least internally, we're doing it kind of to... I don't want to say... It's like a mix of 10 and 19 standards as to how much you can do with a model. You have to do a little bit more with animation of parts to make sure that it works. But besides that, I don't see much that's stopping you from taking a trains model, which is what we're doing in some cases, and putting it into this game. As to the exact process on the UE4 side, I don't know yet. I have volunteered to write up the third-party documents for that when the time comes for workshop.
Oh, Godspeed.
Is there any other pressing questions?
No. I know, I'm sure we're just reiterating a lot of the same questions that you get, but...
Well, it's good to go over these, because there are places that people can find them, but it's also, there's a lot of things that we have places that you should be able to find them, but they're not there yet.
I have connections.
I know, Milky, you're probably wondering internally, Zappy Boys. That's something that's been discussed, and
Zappy Boys.
potential. I have examples. We haven't. Yeah.
Does the game calculate time in years, or is there an internal game time calculator at all? Or if you like used a money cheat, could you get the new like most advanced engines when you start the game? Because there is no like, you have to go through a year before you can like, let's say the K36, you have to go to 1930 something before you can buy it. You can't buy it at like 1890,
That's definitely been a good strategy
like
for
how
other
Locomotion does it.
tycoon games in the past. We've elected to go on a different route of using an XP-based system, basically a research system. So instead of it being locked by year,
like
and like
Thunder.
you go, it's not going to be as bad of a grind. We're going to be constantly.
Give me that
mod-
Railroads
I mean, I'm
Online
grind
premium
for
account.
if people find that there's a really bad grind, then we can definitely will be very happy to push out bug fixes, if you will, of lowering those values. As well, we're looking into the future of different difficulties, which, again, the year-based system is one of those difficulties that we've looked at and just said, maybe in the future. But right now we want to have it, so again, this is more of a tool for the community to build around, and if we did a year-based locking system, it wouldn't be as open.
That leads me into another question.
You can build a. You can. Sorry, you can. Nope, I totally lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was gonna say. Something about a year-based locking system and getting. Oh yeah, you can build a time machine to get the later stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes into my question is, if I didn't want to start with the porters, if I wanted to start straight up with the K36 and go from there, could I have the option to like pick, let's say, a start area where everything before is done, and I already have some money in the bank per se, and I can start by researching, like getting experience towards a newer engine? Or are you always going to have a singular start date of you start with the porters and nothing else?
We've talked about it, and for different scenarios, this might be similar to Railroad Tycoon Free, where you've got like, your Transcontinental Railroad 1, and then you've got England in the 1880s when you're doing the race to the north and all that. Right now, because of the game, we don't have that many locomotives. We're not going to allow that. But in the future, again, this is going to be one of those difficulty-based systems that we can add in. That, it might actually handle that way, that you could jump up the tree. We've also talked, again, with difficulty systems. This is kind of one of the ones for all of our heads in the Colorado Railroad Museum and our other places that we work with. They were asking about, what if we adjusted the rate for loco startup, so like getting a fire? And that's one of the things that we were thinking, if you could have a slider for just how long, so you could get up to the about 4 to 6 hours it takes to warm up a locomotive.
Yes, I love loading the game to wait 4 hours for my Steam engine to
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you load a save in trains and you have no boiler pressure and the firebox is totally full of coal for some reason, because that's always what happens when you save a session with a steam engine in it.
Right now it takes about 2 to 3 minutes for it to catch all the way in some cases. Other things like the porters, they start up really fast.
Maybe 10, 15 minutes. If that.
And I assume further along down the line it's going to be diesels and stuff.
We've talked about internal combustion. We've talked about a lot of things. We have the calculations for a lot of this stuff. Our physics guy, Nate, who restores first and second generation diesels, who owns Lehigh Valley 119, so go check that out. He's done the calculations from the mechanics handbook, or whatever it is. I forgot. And then we have diesel combustion. We have electrics in there. So
Honestly,
we're thinking about
the thing that's kind of the saving grace of this is that you're doing 3-foot gauge. You don't have a ton of diesels to choose from anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Diesels?
Yeah, we decided on 3-foot because it's kind of the happy medium of whereas 2-foot there's some, but there's so little in the U.S. sphere, at least.
They were green and yellow.
I mean, are there any 2-foot diesels in the U.S. that serve?
Yes.
on
Yeah,
like
there's a little bit. But then you've got standard gauge over here where there's, several hundred different companies all doing their own different things all the way
Yeah.
from the 1830s to, in the
Today.
latest cases up till 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
It would be so hard to get a good representative mix of traction
Yeah.
Yep.
across standard gauge. Whereas with Freefoot, it's large enough that you can make it interesting, but small enough that you don't miss anything in a large capacity.
Yep. Yeah, you guys are kind of blessed by I think 3-foot gauge is a really good sweet spot for this game, and I'm really looking forward to digging around in it.
gauge.
No.
The thing is, that's not to say that standard gauge and 2-foot and all that won't come. Again, that's workshop fodder, but it's not, when you boot up the game for the first time, you're not going to have that from us. We're leaving that up to the community. Sort of like how Trains does it, and sort of how does it.
I have another question.
Oh boy.
No, but
Last question.
Why am I so
with multiplayer. In multiplayer, do you all work for one company, or it's each player create their own company?
Right now, it is in essence one company, but we have internal discussions and we have a document, it's a very large one from a few months ago, that discusses how we are going to handle this. The plan is that we want to include the ability to have competing companies, and it basically becomes almost like with Rocket League, where you start up and you get to choose your side. Right now, the map that we have is not conducive to having multiple companies.
Mm-hmm.
But in future updates, when we have future maps that have more industries, more area, and more starting locations, we'll definitely look into, and very much I'm going to try, and I think the rest of the team's going to try, to make sure that you can have competing companies to really screw around with your friends. And,
which is the point of the guns.
Yeah, the guns and ships, and so the bells.
But nobody robs trains anymore.
Yeah. Alternative points on the same matter.
Oh!
Would there be AI companies, or is it just free play pretty much?
Right now, we're not looking at AI companies, but in the future, maybe. It also depends as well. Our team, we don't really have anybody that specializes in AI, and we can't really hire people, full-time, part-time, or anything like that to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody really does this as kind of a labor of love.
You guys use C, right? C++? No, yeah.
I believe
Python.
It's something in those range. I don't know the exact one.
I'm sorry for yelling, but I was moving my neck around and it just popped my back all the way down. I did something the right way, and it honestly felt so good.
All right, well we are at time for this section, but I'm glad we've got to talk about Roads Online. It's made me a lot more excited to play as well.
Yeah, this game looks cool.
And Tyler, thank you for being an outstanding spokesman for this.
Thank you.
I know it was kind of edgy at first when people were kind of upset that it's we have to pay again, but I kind of see why now.
Yeah, it's
worth it.
It's turned into a different beast, and it's just there are things in life that get weird.
That's a termination. Anyway, before terminations and before latest train on Amtrak, does anybody have any advertisements? I put DJ Hammers down because we talked about him already. Who was the person you wanted us to check out, Tyler?
Kyle Danielson, that one that I sent, and then also Nate. Let me go pull it up.
Oh, which one did you send? Well, I didn't see anything that got
I sent the you made a. You're making, what is it? You bought a what?
Oh yeah, I did. I put that in. Oh, you know what? That should be an advertisement. It's not in here. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Where did
Speaking of advertisements, let me just
here we go. The Historic Railworks.
Historic Railworks. Okay. And this is the guy who owns the Lehigh Valley engine?
Yeah, this is Lehigh Valley 119.
Okay. 119?
Yep.
Anyway. Anybody else have any other advertisements?
My pillow's calling to me.
Alright.
I keep hearing Nathan, fam.
Yeah. I mean, he already put something down. Alright, well, to the Amtrak, or at least for me. Nobody else look. Don't be cheating. Who do we think? What do we think is the latest train on Amtrak today? I currently see 2 candidates.
I think it's the Zephyr
Which direction?
6.
6. Okay. Milky?
Outbound Coast Starlight.
Southbound Coast Starlight. You know, one of these
That's
days
what
it's
it's
gonna be
called.
the Southbound Coast Starlight, and you're gonna feel real vindicated.
Yeah.
All right, there's one. Who else? Who else has a call?
I'm gonna guess 5.
Okay, so the
How
other
dare you?
California Zephyr. Thank you, East.
I'm gonna guess if there is one on the board, an eastbound Sunset Limited.
Eastbound Sunset Limited. There is one on the board. It's in fact on its way to New Orleans. It's 1 hour and 8 minutes late. It is not the latest train on Amtrak. The Coast Starlight to Los Angeles has just left Vancouver, Washington, actually, and it is on time.
Oof.
Amtrak 5. Oh, there are 2 of those. One is 34 minutes late. The other one is 2 hours and 19 minutes late. That
one's probably closer to California.
That one is much closer to California. Actually, there's another one that's 1 hour and 12 minutes late. But the latest one is over here. That is the one that is just left Truckee. Meanwhile, Amtrak 6 is 3 hours and 56 minutes late out of Burlington, Iowa. That's almost 4 hours, but it's not the latest train on Amtrak. There's
Damn.
Oh my god.
There's also a 40-minute late California Zephyr and a 1-minute late California Zephyr that just passed the other Amtrak 5 in California. The latest train on Amtrak is the Texas Eagle to San Antonio at a whopping 7 hours late at Longview, Texas.
Ouch.
It picked up 5 hours of those delays just outside of St. Louis, between St. Louis, Missouri, and Arcadia, which
How
is
do you
in
manage
Train on the
that?
fucking-
Arcadia, Missouri.
Also, how the frick does that happen?
I don't know. They must have got put in the hole, or possibly they suffered a breakdown. That said, it is a moderately long distance between those 2 stops. But either way, that's a lot of time to pick up. And of course, then they totally fell off the wagon. They haven't gotten anywhere close to back. They just keep losing time. So,
I feel bad for everyone on that train.
yeah, our heart goes out to the passengers on the 7-hour late Texas Eagle. Oh, look, another coal train. This one's empty.
Another California governor has died.
We need the governor. Anyway, it's time for our terminations. I didn't give anybody any points. Everyone did okay. Even though East was watching things.
I wasn't actually.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
TBA, what's yours?
That's the way.
I'm going to bed.
Alright, good night, TBA.
Good
And
night.
old man.
I want to point out that they're bringing the big game train back
Oh yeah.
for the Red River Shootout. I don't know what that is, but it's a one-way ticket to the Texas State Fair, which houses the Cotton Bowl where the game is played, will cost only $27. The big game train will leave the Santa Fe Depot in downtown Oklahoma City at 8:25 and arrive in Dallas at 2 p.m. So this is hilarious. I'm not hilarious, but I find it funny. I love the big game train. I saw the big game train unit a couple of years ago. Of all the random trains, I didn't expect this one to show up again. East,
Go Finns.
meh.
Well, up 7 hours, so fight
Yeah,
me.
what an insurmountable lead.
Yeah, but it was after you guys fumbled, so.
Totally wasn't a fumble. The guy was down.
So I see you're watching, aren't you?
Yeah. Anyway, Tyler.
All right, take me back. Last
Don't you?
last year and this year,
Wait.
there's a group that went out to the DNS and the Cumberland and Toltec with 16mm cameras. This video is amazing. You should go watch it.
Okay. I might have to. Oh, the train has stopped. Milky?
I got a playlist here on YouTube that is interview with Bob Krebs, former CEO of Southern Pacific, Santa Fe, and BNSF. Just kind of going over his career.
We also, I think I deleted it, but we had an interview of Doyle McCormick somewhere in the older Terminus news as well. But I was clearing house and I got rid of that one because nobody had jumped on it. But yeah, that's really cool. I might have to check that out as well. And thanks everyone for coming on this show. Thank you to Stephen West, of course, for maintaining the local-based database that allows us to play our dumb little games. Thank you to the viewers. Again, thank you to all my co-hosts. And we hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.